Now you've come a long way in your understanding of drag and drop in HTML5. But one of the things that probably sticks out to you is, man, this is a lot of code. Wouldn't it be nice if there was some sort of, drag and drop module that you could implement in order to simplify the amount of code that's on your page? Well, that's exactly what this does. Now, I've kept the implementation on the page very simple, but let me show you how this works. First of all, I have two drag sources here. One where the allowed effect is copy, and the other one where the allowed effect is link move. You can drop into these drop targets here. The effect here is move, and the effect is link. So if I try to drag this one onto move, well, it won't work because the allowed effect is copy on this source. If I put it up here to link, same thing, it won't work. However, if I take the one at the bottom and try to add it into move, that succeeds, as well as if I try to put it up into the item with link, that succeeds. And I can continue to do that because they are matched together by the allowed effect being link move and being able to drop it into link or move targets. The other thing that you'll notice is that as I'm dragging, there's a style sheet update that's setting the opacity to the drag source. And there's also a style being applied to the drop targets that's being updated as I move around them. So this brings together the functionality that you've seen in a couple different of the demos that we've had leading up to this. The main difference here is most of the functionality that's required to get drag and drop working on the page is enabled through some declarative markup. So the JavaScript module will go in and look at the declarative markup on the page and then implement most of the boilerplate logic required in order to get any sort of drag and drop operation working on a page. All right, let's take a look at the markup. So this is the HTML page. And if we start at the top here, you'll see that I have some style sheet entries that are required in order to make everything happen the way I want to. Of course, I have the draggable style, which you saw earlier in one of the other demos. And I also have a style down here, which changes the cursor to the move icon for any of the items that are marked as draggable. The style, as you go over a drop target, just changes the background color to white and sets a dash border. And the style for a dragging element sets the opacity to 0.25. Now let's take a look at the drop targets first. The first thing that you notice is I have a data dash attribute for the first drop target. This sets up the drag and drop role as a drop zone. It also sets the drop effect to link. So when the drag and drop module runs, it'll read this information and automatically set it up as a drop zone and setting the drop effect correctly. Down here, I have another drop zone and the drop effect is move. And then I have my drag sources. This is saying that the drag and drop role is set to draggable. And the effect allowed on this one is copy. Now I could have just added the attribute of draggable equals true right here, but I wanted to keep it consistent with all the other data dash attributes, so I did it this way. If you re-implement this, you can choose either way that you think is most appropriate. And for the last one down here, I'm saying that the role is draggable and the effect allowed is link move. Now let's take a look at the script that's required on the page in order to implement the counter that I have in each one of the drop targets. I'm not going to go through this line by line yet. I just want you to see that compared to the amount of code that we've been looking at for some of these other implementations, there's not really a lot here. All right, we'll come back to this, but first I want to take you through the drag and drop module.